Welcome back to the field here in Bruges. Tom's Tourney 2024, the 30th anniversary edition. Tom's Tourney is 30 years old, and we are glad to be bringing you women's quarter-final action. We've got a national team matchup because, of course, it's a world year. We have Great Britain versus France, and it is going to be quite the game on our hands. The French have taken a couple of losses earlier on in the tournament, most notably to a British team, Bristol Women. So the difficult matchup between these two. And we're going to have quite the show. GB starting out on offense. Hannah Brew, that anchoring position captain, alongside Rachel Naden. Cheeky little overhead upside downsies. Caudron. Reading ultimate player. But of course now moving to further fields. That's a little bit too big though, and our first turnover of the game comes off an overthrow, trying to hit a player wearing Sarah Holtke's shirt, but that's not the number 10. I think that's Marina Symington.
Yeah, just an overthrow there, asking for a bit more than receiver was able to give.
So Tessa Hunt on the mark. And a big shot on a high stall, snaffled up, but a stall out's going to be called regardless. No one's paying any attention to them.
Now, if you contest the stall count here, is it accepted? It is accepted, because if it was contested, that would have negated the turnover, and that would have been a trickier situation, but it is accepted.
Well, I think both teams have switched their jerseys round every so often to maybe not allow their opponents to scout, who knows, but we're trying to play the game of match the number. But Brew back on the disc. Up line. And that's going to be taken out. Is that Becker underneath it?
It is indeed Elise Becker.
Yeah, there's no hiding her. You could put her in 5 different jerseys over the course of the game. You'd still know Elise Becker when you see her play. Fantastic athlete. Nice bit of toe drag swag right in front of the booth for Bocanegra Gomez. Finds the up line. And again, Bocanegra working really hard. Superb stuff. Guillen now. Chooses a racy around. Plenty of yards gained. Inside shot, swapped it away though. That's Oldfield. Wearing Hannah Yorworth's shirt and her own shorts. Well, terms of number anyway. Caudron. GB exploiting the low wind conditions. Hyde popping through to Brew. So just going over the top of the zone with the disc. Caudron. Enjoying the dynamic spacing of the handlers as they find Hyde on the near side. Through to Caudron. Hunt going up line. The Smog athlete who took a year abroad to travel is now back firmly. He's previously played on the mixed teams for GB in the past. The dish through to Hyde. Could go for an easy push pass here. But through to who I believe is Symington for the goal.
Giving that one to Symington there. A lot of turnovers over the course of that, back and forth. You got to say, not a bad first point for France to be able to cause that much disruption to the initial O-line. Although their conversion was not quite there, they moved it all the way down the field and had a sniff of that end zone. And for a first point of the game in these nice throw-friendly conditions, that's a good first kick at the can by the French D-line to be able to generate a couple chances, though the dirty hold still goes to GB Women.
Yeah, happy to grind through. Oh, GB Women, of course, silver medalists last time out at the EUC. got their eyes firmly set on the World Championships in Australia later on this season, but very much later on. We are many months away, with a slight adjustment, of course, for the weather down under. So that tournament will be happening at the very beginning of September in the Gold Coast. But Mondiaux, Rasta, one of the best throwers in the women's division globally, puts one through. Goussi just squeezing it up the far sideline. Looking for the dish, now around to Rigolier. And that is a nice find. Chloe Vallée for the goal.
Yet the French looked very tidy on their first asking. Rasta kicks things off, got 2 sets of unders on the far sideline through Cousy and Petitbon, and then nice and patient once they got into the shorter fields here. Here's Rigolet with the scoring throw once again.
I did get it incorrect. It's Salom Rollet. there's a 2 in front of that 7, unfortunately, for my eyes.
You're absolutely right.
But we get there. So a clean hold for the French women. To say they've had some struggles in the course of this tournament. Certainly their last game also against Chut women. That one was a loss.
By a pair, by 2 goals there, is that right?
No, it's 13-8.
Oh, by a whole bunch. But a win here erases those losses to some extent.
Absolutely, and we can't not feature the French women at any point in Tom's Tourney. Of course, GB are the defending champions, but perhaps the French women just have taken a little longer to get things clicking. But a 3-day tournament, so there is plenty of time for it. Caudron centres to Hannah Thompson, formerly of Chichester University, Cobras fame. And of course, through the University of Brighton on that far sideline. Coached by one of our own ULTI.TV folks, Felix Chardley. Fantastic throwing mechanics. She displays there. A little bit air bouncy there though. Van Sale has to just pop up off the turf. Hunter trying to use that explosiveness to sneak away, but Van Sale comes through. Big backhand through to Caudron. Just going all open side here. Hunter underneath it, having a good sniff and ripping it out of the sky in front of Si Belahuel.
Yeah, big score there. Hunter really, with the bailout, making a play there. That throw maybe a bit too floaty. It was in the right spot, but took its time to get there. But Hunter goes and makes a big play. Makes it that much easier and makes Caudron's throw just that much easier to turn into an assist if you're going to go make plays like that. Up where Grandma keeps the jam jars.
It's a fantastic box out. Absolutely fantastic. Hunter, real committed athlete. She lifts, bro. She lifts heavy. In fact, watching her off-season gains is quite the delight on her social media. But it's been a real upgrade, I think, especially in the women's division, of just the commitment to the strength and conditioning training over recent years and seasons. And there's plenty of knowledge as well. Big shout out to Heather Gibson, actually, who we'll probably see at some point in the course of this game. Makes her trade now currently, helping athletes be in prime shaping condition. As Rollet will bring it to the brick mark. It's a pull gone well out of bounds. So last game of Saturday. And Vallée of Yaka Puts one out into the space. So that Gibson with the better read on it. It just trails away Roland Gloire, the target for that one. So Kate Gibson. Just going, throwing and going with Emily Hill there at the back, the number 26 shirt. She's been playing ultimate for a very long time. And the first live stream game for Sarah, newly named Hulkyard, and that number 10 with the pick upfield.
Speaking of a very long time of ultimate playing, how about that matchup between Benedict and Mondiaux?
Oh, I'm a big fan of this.
There's a few years there, huh?
Just a few. Of course, Benedict, Canadian by birth. He's played for Team Canada many iterations. But moved over to London and joined Iceni some years ago in the mid-20 teens. Jacks it. We've got Dahlman running off towards the deep space. Just about catches up, but the single hand open palm doesn't close the claw quick enough.
I thought she did a great job to get that catch-up speed there. Left hand did let her down. She should have had that one definitely in the catching space, but now France get a chance.
They certainly do, Steph. Back in the hands of Valle, who generated the turnover last time, but it's by virtue of that big put into the deep space. Rollet now pushing from the back. Just swaggering through Mondiaux. You can really see the hesitation to throw to a static player. The French women want to gain yards with every single pass. Or centimetres, it'll do, millimetres if even. Oh, and that's a beautiful pass to the front cone. In stride, Raimondo collects the goal. And that's the hold for France women. We're all even Stevens at the moment. No breaks yet, Steph.
Yeah, great finish by Valle, but it was that work in the middle between Mondiaux and Valle. Sorry, and the assist didn't come from Valle, but the work between Mondiaux and Valle to just chip away, get around the front of this zone, Kwok and Benedict, and then Valle could put in that throw with space. They got just to the outside of the front of that zone, but great chipping away. As you said, they were just continually taking whatever was available and really moving around the angles of attack in doing so.
Just a little shot there of Alex Mazin, one of the coaches for this GB women's side. Of course, fantastic scenes last season for the Great British squad. Really raising the game of women's ultimate back home as well. But France have been developing their juniors to fantastic effect. Of course, last season with EYUC was absolutely incredible performance from their women's under-20 program.
They were, unbelievable to watch.
The future of French women's ultimate is certainly dazzlingly bright. So we get a rare glimpse of the sunshine. I say rare, to be fair. It's been really nice conditions most of the day, just underfoot. Still very sticky after yesterday's swampy affair. Brew opening up the cork. Has Fancel underneath it. Rigolier. And a whole pack of individuals.
Yeah, Rigolier was there. Bellouel gets credited, and now France go again.
Yeah, a little bit too much hang time on that big shot from the captain. Bocanegra. Upfield to Lambolet.
Oh.
Just the flop clap catch to make sure.
The grimace on her face and just gets up, no injury. Love to see that toughness.
Oh, John de Laval is toughness for days, absolute grit. And she'll have plenty underneath her fingernails, I'm sure, after making that layout clap catch. Have the poise of her high release as well. Now Beckett asking for something a bit more lateral, much more lateral. Good matching from GB's person defense on the bounce here. Bocanegra sends it through, but no one runs to go collect it. Miscommunication.
Yeah, Bocanegra overshoots the cuts in the middle there. Two of them kind of centered in a stack-like situation, but puts it outside the both of them.
So Hyde. GB just happy to stay in this relatively contained space. Thompson now. Symington. Cordran. Trying to do a bit of point and shoot, but takes the reset. Over to Hunt. Nice snatch. Just the fingertips required. Then through underneath again. Lashing it deep towards Fun Sail again. She sets sail but does not pass to safe harbour in the end zone.
So a score there. We are just
no score. Stefan having a little chat about our next quarter-final selection for Open Division 2. We see you in the comments. Well, I see you in the comments. You're going to get what you want. It will be Kraken's Vibration. But we'll focus on this matchup in front of us now as France really try and tussle their way through. Another attempt at the break. Through to Lambolet. De Laval timeout calls. You've only got one per game, but this is a solid choice, I think, to take a brief break. And we're going to take 1-2 here in the booth. Don't go anywhere, folks, though. This game is starting to heat up.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
First half, early doors in this matchup between Great Britain and France in the women's division here at Tom's Tourney. The sun is out. The beers are being poured for the Open Division 1, who've finished all of their games for today. So the sidelines are going to start to fill up. And the atmosphere, Steph, is fantastic, as always, here in Bruges.
As always, the moments here live on in your memories forever.
You kind of never want to leave, really.
Do we have to?
Oh, I think we do. We've got to go do Elite Invite in about a week.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait for that either.
I know, it's going to be great. Be great to be back in Leuven. De Laval, though, getting us started to Becky. GB sideline, trying to fire up and cause a block. Oh my goodness, what a scandalous throw from De Laval. Just about hangs on. Spicy breakthrough to Lambolet, and that will be the break of score. France take first blood.
Wow, what a shot by De Laval. Really cut the field open, almost cut Lambolet open. She grabbed her face there in disbelief after the bobble, but made the bobble and catch. So much better than its alternate, the bobble and drop. But look at this again. Watch how hard she just exposes that back turned on defense. Lambolet's there thanking her lucky stars. And France get the first break of this game. Slow and steady, they're chipping away here. Some extended points, 5 points scored in 20 minutes. And already a timeout. It is, they are really slogging out there, Hanny.
I think it does betray, though, the fact that the French women are now really mindful of this tournament format. The shortened games, we've got just hour time slots of regulation time here. Still points cap of 15, so your soft cap maximum score you can have is 15 total. But you really do have to start strong and take your opportunities. If you kind of try and play from behind, which I think might have been the case perhaps for the French women's team. So we see a very big ball that's going to just tail out of bounds at the last minute. And our first look at as well a youngster on the rise, Amand Babiquian. You can't miss her.
No.
The visor and ginger curls.
Wicked afro. I love it so much.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And plays to match and dazzle you. Big poach off of Symington. Babiquian now coming in and applying the mark. Caudron with the good footwork. Oh, but there's a hand in the cookie jar that steals it away. Babiquian picking up. Is she going to launch it? Oh, she is. Beautiful backhand. Becky underneath it. Just about puts the head on a swivel. And that's 2 breaks on the bounce for France women.
Wow, what a block there. We've got some rostering issues. I think that was Colleen Chartrand with that block. Just charging into the dump space. There it is. And then throws this after. Becker watches it overhead. Very difficult to make a play like that. Chasing the disc is hard enough when it's in your line of sight. When it crosses over your head and you got to kind of swivel upwards. Made to look easy, but a difficult job there. And big props to Chartrand.
I could believe that shot, Colleen Chartrand. It's my first French women's game of calling this season, but now that you say it, Steph, that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, Becky, fantastic effort. So 4-2. French women have the lead, and of course the Great Britain started the game on offense. We have timed half times as well as points capped this weekend. First time in a long time for Tom's Tourney, but of course EUCS qualification series event, EUF approved. But neither of these teams will be bothered about that, of course.
Not at all.
Not in the slightest. So, watching the disc all the way into the hands is Hill. Working with Gibson. Doesn't like the look of her, doesn't even look at her. Oh, huge effort from the defence. Benedict now with the snood to hide her thoughts, feelings and strategies. She's got many. Collins now. Younger of the 2 Collins sisters at this tournament. That's her sister Tash playing with Bristol Women on our live stream earlier, but Izzy stepping up to play with GB Women this season.
Stepping up indeed. I had the pleasure of coaching with Izzy Collins not too long ago at a clinic down in Portugal.
Oh, she's fantastic. She's really helped develop the Brighton women's scene, and that Gibson opens up the arm and finds the length of Izzy Collins.
Speak of the devil, there she is, Izzy Collins doing what she does best, being that big target in the end zone. She does so much well, but on a team like this, she can really provide to GB by using that big frame of hers and being a viable target for goal catching. She's done it there and brought it back to within 1, 4-3, but the French with a nice little buffer from the run they just put on prior.
Well, Gibson there with the put, one of the founding members of women's team Spice.
I've changed it, so just up to refresh.
Of course, Been playing for the GB Women's Programme for quite some time, coming through the under-24s way back when. Both of these nations, long-standing ultimate programmes, wonderful club scenes, and investing in the future of their ultimate programmes as well by, as we already mentioned, teaching their juniors. But this is solid pressure. Valet looking for Mondieu. Hill taking that match up. The youngster was a pretty dominant force for the under-24s last year, and there's the celebration of the hand block from Gibson.
Wow, that was a heck of a smack-away hand block. That was great reading of the thrower.
Yeah, none for you. And off she goes. Isolation play in the front of the end zone, and GB celebrate their first point in a little while. 4-3, the French lead, but that is a good start to the comeback. Sorry, 4-4. There you go. It's a break.
And tied things up there. Gibson with the double happiness. Smack away block. Generates some space in the end zone set. Getting the best of Petitbon on both sides there. A big play for GB to tie things up at 4. Still advantage to the French, but boy, they're making it tight out there.
Thank you for the correction, Steph. It has been a long day of watching people play Frisbee.
Oh, yeah. I mean, very excusable. We, as I say, sometimes these headsets keep our brains from dripping out our ears when we could do as much ultimate as we do. We love it so much and love bringing it to you.
Oh, no, for sure. For sure.
But every now and again.
And Gibson's going to stay on. Definitely an athlete who enjoys using the fire. So 3rd point in a row for Kate Gibson after losing it to Izzy Collins. Both these teams with a relatively similar size roster, but slightly smaller for the French women. Dabin looking for options. Good shutdown again from GB, and Kate Gibson piling the pressure on the shoulders of Guillet. Well, that's at Delaval, isn't it?
It was on Delaval. Kate Gibson having a moment right now. She is everywhere.
Told you, she likes to feed the fire. That's going to be just big enough for Klima.
Whew.
Making her players look good out there. Of course, Klima part of that mighty Hawks roster that just won a European gold medal indoors. Pick up for that team and picks up the disc in the front corner. And that will be a goal and put us back on serve break. Levels up 4 apiece.
Got ourselves a heck of a game going on here. Klima out there picking up bids, scoring goals in the corner, doing her part. GB has found a spark and put themselves back in the driver's seat here with that run now. 3 in a row, a hold and 2 breaks. And the lead over the French women here in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, if this one just trades out, break for break, punch for punch, blow for blow, it will be GB advancing into semi-finals. Of course, defending champions from the 29th edition. I love the party in Bruges. And we have seen the French women falter in the earlier stages. So perhaps there are cracks in that fantastic French porcelain veneer. GB trying to get their chisels out and chip away. Mondieu really struggling to get free from any of the matchups she's been put against. Valet, though, providing. Oh, that's a very nice throw, but it might be just a little bit too much. Indeed, Rollet just slows down a little bit.
I like the option too. It was just missed by a small bit. Rollet gave everything she had. out there. Valet, a valid throw choice, but missed by that much. It is a game of inches, as we all know.
So Hill to bring it back in play. Holkyard straight off to the races. Oh, Dartman coming unstuck. Oh, Sarah Holkyard. I think she might call an injury, putting it all on the line. What a hero she would have been if she'd caught that. I mean, to be fair, hero anyway for trying.
Yeah, she is at minimum severely winded.
I think maybe a bit of whiplash going on.
Yeah, there could be a bit more. She went into a little bit of a scorpion there. The back kind of stuck and bent the wrong way, so she does walk off.
We've got some replacements. It's Heather Gibson coming on for Holkyard. Actually, no, that's Ellie Payne. What am I talking about? But Chloe Valet going up.
Great reception by Valet, going up strong. She has been a weapon of a receiver for Yaka on the club side. She's been doing it for France. Long, lean frame, very fast and very strong hands. She attacks the disc and takes one there. I think the goal there, or the assist, coming from the 58 shirt.
It's not on our roster.
That's not on our roster.
It's difficult from sight to know exactly who everybody is in the first event of the season. But big shout out to Salome Rollet, who did miss that big disc from Valet earlier on in the point. Of course, coming from Flying Oysters, the RFO Frisbee Club. But there's been so much action coming out of the western coast of the French club side. Of course, they play well on beach, but have been doing damage as well on grass. It's a bit like how some of the contingents of the Spanish ultimate scene, Steph, try and prove to us that they're not just good at playing on sand, even though they are very good at playing on sand.
Yeah, we can do this on the grass too, even though we're very good on the sand.
And they showed that off, obviously, in LA last year. Did fantastically well, beating a certain USA team in the mixed division. So bricked pull. Hannah Brew just taking her time, letting everyone set up. Oldfield streaking towards the deep space straight away. Just going for the give-go dishing, trying to be active against the zone. Hyde over to Brew. That little flick up on the backhand releases. Saw Brew come unglued a little bit earlier. You see it in her fakes as well. Hunt hanging out on the far side, just trying to keep things laterally spaced. They do find her. Hunter now taking that spot on the wing. Thompson through to Hunt. To Brew. It's not quite in. Back through to Van Sale. Lovely around break all across the board. And there it goes into the pocket for Hannah Thompson.
Great bit of flow from GB there. Worked it the whole way in, bouncing from sideline to sideline. And they go back up by one, a couple holds in a row for the first time in a little bit after a couple slides. 15 passes it took him to get there, so a fair bit of work. Good job by the French defense, but GB just kept making completions and walked it in. That is really a case of moving the possession up the field.
Well, so we must have had, well, we had the half-time jingle So, Steph, it's very unclear, and we should have kept better time of this, but we had the halftime jingle, right?
Yeah, we did.
So that's half being taken?
I believe so.
Fab. So France women now to receive regardless, if we've got it correct. I think we have. But Karen Kwok with the pull. So we stay on serve anyway. We're trading. GB, though, trading up. Petit bon. Pushing away. Mondiaux again being covered very effectively. Nullified. Oh, that's a beautiful throw, though. Again, Chloe Valet doing the work and Petit bon collecting underneath.
I love that Valet just keeps shooting. She had one on the last point or 2 points ago where she did overcook one to the end zone. She is a major cog in the French offensive efficiency. If she gets cooking, look out that time. Drops a backhand dime to Petit bon. Here is another look. And just totally exposed the backside of the defense there. And Petit bon with the celebration as the French knot things up once again. Great game here. No major advantage given either way. GB have definitely been stronger over the course of the tournament, but the French came out firing and are staying right in this, all on serve.
Yeah, lots of hand slaps on the sidelines. 6 apiece. And the French women will need to snag a break to put themselves in front. But this game could go anyway. Ooh, that was an interesting catch of the ball, very low. But no one questions it on the pitch. Nice high one around to Funsale. Caudron. Intense pressure. Hunt. Lots of spacing. Again, really enjoying the way GB are being disciplined with their lateral spacing in particular, giving themselves options. And of course we see the French women match to melt. Melt to match even. Person coverage now. Inside shot to Caudron. Oh, fan backhand, we love to see it. Hunter now sets her sights. That one's very high, but taken well by Van Sale. Oh, that's a beautiful break, but it's just going to sneak past the speedy, outstretched hands of Tessa Hunt.
Yeah, it was a very good-looking mechanical throw. It did go too far. He had to work really hard to get around the break, and then lost just a tad of the accuracy there, enough to give the French women a glorious chance to steal a very precious break here.
I credit the defense. Bocanegra did a fantastic job of really pushing around, making Funsale have to work super, super hard for it. And even Tessa Hunt's speed can't collect with that. Always been a very rapid receiver. But GB playing a zone of their own. Hunt having a look at it. Yards are gained, but no connection upfield.
Yeah, Daban had nothing to look at near, or Delaval perhaps, nothing to look at upfield. Would have had to throw a hammer or scuba over top and a bit of a distance, but the GB zone effectively trapped into that sideline corner.
So match is the moment. Hunt off to the deep space, but Brew not looking for it. Now seeking a reset. All the way across. Delaval having a good go, but can't get in the mixer. Bit of confusion now. The French trying to switch. How's Funsale going towards the deep space? It's a little bit soft and hanging again. Rigolier just about getting enough on it.
Yeah, just about enough indeed. There was some major confusion by the French there. Delaval ran through, lost her defender. There's a bit of switching. They probably could have had a couple freebies in the middle, but they went for the deep shot And thank goodness, from a French perspective, that Rigolier got there and got a fingertip to it to bounce it away.
Well, she hails from the mountainsides in Grenoble. And a mountain of a defender. Lots of space being given to Bocanegra over the top. And off they go. Delaval doesn't have any timeouts left to burn. They did take them wisely earlier in search of a break.
Becker barking instructions when she has the disc there, motioning for the poppers, the cutters to come even closer.
Big old bid from Symington. Just trying to get hungry for blocks. But the French women really testing their mettle here, their patience, but that one becomes uncorked. And a short field here for GB. This is their offense to put in. Double resets required though. Funsail matched up with Delaval. GB really trying to keep it moving. That one does hit Brew correctly. Flirts with the high release inside. Hunter. Down the barrel like a gun. Oh, that just about makes it to Brew, but she can't quite hit the deck in time.
Yeah, the double jump by Bertrand there, just trying to get in the way, flailing arms. No touch there by O or D, but it falls between the two of them. And the French will go again and look at this GB zone that's been stifling them.
Lovely lateral move. Becker collecting. To see Belaruel. Back to Becker. This is much better expansion. Although slightly negative positioning for the handlers. Chatrin. Requesting something to push through and move the cup around. Gets there eventually. Delaval. Chatrin is there and gettable because the wind is basically imperceivable at this stage of the day. The conditions really are gorgeous for a game of Frisbee. The fake and shoot, but look at the zone being so effective, pushing France backwards and backwards and backwards. Mamboulé just jogging around in the deep space. Rigolier now. So much noise, both teams trying to help each other. Delaval saying, I'd like someone to please be spread laterally. Quite in the contrast to the way that GB's handler set are really using the width of the pitch when they're challenged with the zone defense. Becker now. This for that all-important break that the French women desperately need to take this one and see themselves into quarterfinals after those early stumbles in pool stages. It's not unheard of for the French women, of course, to play the bracket effectively. Delaval doing excellent work. Oh my goodness, what a shot again! Delaval, laser inside forehand for a break side goal. And GB were ground into the mud during that point. My goodness gracious. 5 turnovers total.
What a show of patience there by the French. They were pushed back at least 2-3 times. They would get a small bit of forward momentum, then get pushed back, a small bit forward, and be forced to throw nothing but dumps and small distance swings. But they just kept at it, and they moved their way up. I'm not sure what the pass count was there. 32 by the look. It was 32 passes on just the last possession. And that's taking us to a timeout by GB. What a performance by the French against that zone.
Well, we're going to take a very quick break, but don't go anywhere, folks. This game will conclude in a couple of moments. Women's division quarter-finals in front of us, and my good gracious, this French women's team have come out of nowhere. I say nowhere, of course it's the French women's national team. They are fantastic athletes, but they've had quite the journey to quarter-finals. GB, on the other hand, looking very dominant, smushing the opponents placed in front of them. We do not have a cleated-up captain in the form of Rachel Naden. She's, well, to say that, she's got cleats on, she's got a clipboard covered in layers and hasn't taken the field yet, but plenty of stars from Great Britain have been putting the work in. Kate Gibson certainly one of those. Emily Hill now far side. Has Payne streaking underneath, replaced by Collins. Hill trying to go up that line. Very close mark from Lamboulé. Inside, reaching backhand break to Payne. Payne, of course, formerly of Spice, now playing for Bristol Women. Oh, but it's going to be a bit of tasty footwork from Emily Hill. Sticks that back leg and grabs the goal, levelling us back up at 7.
Couple of mullets on the board. Great response by GB, working it up that line. Loved the leading throw by Collins after the stall count got midway. Did find some space up that line, and everything seemed to flow smoothly from that point on. The around throw on the sideline had to be right to score, and ended up being absolutely right. Good shape on it. There it is. And the foot down, no space for the defense to make a play at it.
So looking at the personnel actually on this GB roster, we also do not have, and I know she's had injuries, certainly were impacting her season last year, but Molly Wedge also not in cleats. Neither is Heather Gibson. So I'm wondering, Steph, if maybe GB took the decision to rest some of their roster during this quarter-final stage.
Speculative, but worthy of speculating.
I'd prefer that to many of the top players being injured.
Yeah, most certainly.
Because despite the accusations, I do quite like it when my home nation succeeds. Sometimes we get salty comments in the chat. But I love the soul. So, GB into Valet. GB on defense. Oh, Karen Kwok slapping the disc away like a fly swatter.
Big chance to take the lead back now for GB.
Yep. After those long drawn out points, perhaps France putting some fresher personnel on to try. Inside to Kwok. Hill, an easy around. Oh, spicy inside attempt to hit Izzy Collins, but big athlete, no need to shoot it at her shins.
Yeah, going for a little too much there was Hill.
But I love this Izzy Collins matchup for Montijo, and a stone cold drop.
That is not helping the situation there, and GB a very short field to look at after that error from the French side.
Well, late stages, the energy just faltering a little bit for France, but can GB hold on? Gibson lashing back and then slashing across. Collins just using the legs and space. That reach and that arm. Halkid now. Upside down fakie. Dahlman shoots for the end zone. It's got a good spit and hang on it, but despite the laying out bid, Chloe Valet, I think that is hitting the deck, but fantastic sensibility from Izzy Collins.
Yep. Great strong finish. You knew she could feel the pressure of Valet coming from behind. She just held her line, put 2 strong hands on it, made sure her feet were accounted for, and GB take the lead back with that break. 8-7 the score line. Almost, or I think we're beyond 50 minutes in. We'll see the clock in just a second.
Yeah, not very long left in this match. We know that the French women can grind through breaks, but it's taken them all but one. Has been a multiple attempt affair, whereas GB have been a lot cleaner for their D-line. We've had 2 clean breaks, but a timeout being called here by Great Britain, so we'll take a brief break as well.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Come on, break!
Live action here, Tom's Tourney 2024 Women's Division quarterfinals, and we have quite the tussle between 2 stalwart nations of the ultimate scene here in Europe. Great Britain looking to keep their title of champions of Tom's Tourney versus French women who have had quite the interesting journey to this stage in the tournament.
Probably their best game so far. Let's see if the result feels good at the end or not, but to be in this one and fighting and having a chance to win it, maybe not the expectation after comparing results coming into this game. So French stepping up to the plate here for the quarterfinal here on ULTI.TV.
Well, I alluded to it earlier on in the game, but the French women's team have had tournaments previously where they've played the championship bracket very well after struggling in pool stages.
EUC 2019 gear, is that what you're referring to, at least one of them?
In EUC back in 2019, indeed. Endured. What a tournament that was. Fowler receiving that inside shot from Mondieu. Now Petitbon. Thinking about it. Fowler was in acres of space. Eventually that little toss backhand goes to her. Just squeaking it through to Mondieu. Again, Izzy Collins taking that matchup, using the wingspan to try and deny her the throws that she's renowned for. But it's going to be a low shot on the goal line. Gibson's going to say the knees were down, so it's out of bounds. Well, I say out of bounds, just not in the end zone proper.
I thought the feet were down first, my initial impression. I'd love to have another look, but initial thoughts was it was caught with the feet down and then the knees and hands crossed the line, but let's look. Don't get a great look from that angle, but accepted in the end. Pair of snowmen on the board there, Hanny. 8 apiece.
All of the 8s, 88. We won't use the bingo call because it's just not appropriate. But France holding on, hanging in here. This game has been just an absolute mirror image. 2 breaks early doors for the French women. Immediate 3-point bounce response from GB. But it's been call and response the whole game, actually. It's been the French women get a bit of momentum. They get some breaks going. Then GB do exactly the same fashion to level us back out. The 2 trades. And then 2 points, 2 points. There's a rhythm here that's going on. And I suspect, Steph, it might be that virtue of when the French women are pulling their power lines that are getting them these breaks, generating these turns and punching them in after a bit of a slog in some cases. They just don't necessarily have the full line replacements they need to then hold their mettle. 5 minutes remain in this matchup, but a spicy one for a top of power pool, bottom power pool crossover for sure.
Yep. Big spot waiting in the semifinals. Who's going to take it? GB with the advantage right now as they receive this pull, but so much to be left out on this field.
GB doing the right things and going to catch all of these balls so they can field them quickly, but that one is going to sail past Hannah Thompson. Marked up by Amand Babiquian. Love that for a matchup. Thompson recently been attending some open invite trainings with a local club, Solent, teaching some open players some serious lessons from what I hear. De La Val stumbling. It's going to have to be a launch towards the deep space. Great attack, but even better from the defender.
And Bertrand with not many options to look at and just jacks it up the field.
Well, a squandered opportunity from the GB unforced error. Just going for this very flat passive zone. Hunter and Symington on the far sideline. Brew darting back in. Cauldron just very patiently waiting again. Keeping that lateral spread. Huge play from De La Val.
Defense just went to match. De La Val took the inside angle. She's not sure she believes it. She did have a nice layout. I think she probably would have caught some of that inside shoulder, inside elbow. Let's have another look. I mean,
we don't have a great angle to really understand how that one would have felt. There's definitely a solid amount of contact on the follow through, because obviously you have Oldfield falling on top of De La Val.
Yeah, I mean, if De La Val comes on the other side, on the right side of the body, it's a bigger twist and a bigger ask, of course, but then doesn't go through the momentum that Oldfield has. She goes on the left side. That's the direction Oldfield's going. So there is some definite contact. It's resolved as a foul contested, and we'll go back to the thrower as such.
Nope, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with contesting it and sending it back. Go back to the last bit of play you can agree on. But De La Val clearly fired up to try and change the nature of this game again. This being GB's O-line out on the pitch. Symington engaged. Oh, I love the release on that. Such a big wind-up, but such a soft wrist snap. Babiquian, though. Yes, she can.
Babiquian
becoming the prey.
Yeah, and Babiquian, no stranger to big plays in big moments. Watch the French final from last year if you don't remember that one.
Absolutely. So just trying to swing it round, but it's going to be a call on the play. I think a discussion about Hunt's movement.
That's an interesting call. Beluel, again, I'm going to want to see it again. There was a step in front, run through. Did she go through the shoulder? I wasn't convinced the first time. No. Yeah, yes, she did. That's a foul.
That is quite a bosh.
They are obviously working that out on the field. I say that's a foul. That doesn't mean anything.
Indeed. It's what it feels like and how the players decide on the pitch. Nothing to do with us up in the booth.
Connor McHale, advanced coaching. A sorry no. I think that would be a disagreement to the way I've seen this one. And everybody entitled to their own opinion. I disagree with you, Connor. Same way you disagree with me. Gone back. Contested foul it is.
Well, same outcome. They can't decide whether they're, if it's they can't agree if it's a foul or not, so it goes back to the thrower. I'm with you, Steph. It looked like before going to attack the disc. And the foul, of course, is a stoppage. But anyway, Babikiano, can she get there? Oh, she nearly did, you know. But what a battle between Hunter and Babikiano. 2 pocket rockets going toe-to-toe.
Wow, what a hand on that to mack it away. Babikiano nearly gets the second chance all the while. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. Blasting through the Bruges airwaves here. Finish this point at 1. We're going to play till 10, that is for sure.
Yeah, you can see there's a little bit there actually as Babikian opens up, straightens up that cut to try and give a better throwing channel. It's when Hunter pounces excellently.
Brew begging for the disc in the flats.
Nice inside shot to Hunter. Oldfield now. Caudron saying it's a free one. As the defense from France just starts to loosen off a little bit, slacking, trying to perhaps conserve a tiny bit of energy. Delaval getting rinsed under by Oldfield. Symington now. Babican getting a little bit too close. Oldfield now on the front corner. Hunt towards that back line, and they hold on to their offense, do GB. So game to 10. GB to come out on defense and try and do it first with a break.
Great point there. Great battle we've got in front of us, back and forth. I mean, even the fouls have a pattern right now where they're being contested and sent back. They are a little bit tit for tat in that sense where they are, you know, the consistency can make those go either way over the course of a game. The Delaval foul was a bit of contact sent back, maybe a little bit more because she was airborne. Very similar on this side, the 2 shoulders boshing up, and, you know, obviously being sent back to the thrower. In both senses, another turnover eventuated after anyway, so it was not overly defining because of the calls. And GB taking the length of the field and put one in to take the lead and bring themselves to within 1 of winning this. Of course, France within 1 of sending it to Universe Point.
Absolutely.
And
that's what we want realistically, Steph. We just want a absolute mind-blowing affair. Just keep it more interesting. But the real defense we should talk about, who cares about the ones that were contested fouls, frankly? The one we should talk about is that absolute beaut of a sniper block from Avril Hunter. Double barrel blow for sure. So, France need to punch this one in or see their chance expire like day old milk. Montiot absolutely lashing it out the sideline, had Petitbon in stride, but did not have the execution because she's been shut out for quite a long time in this game.
yeah, haven't seen a deep throw out of Rasta yet. That's the first one that she's delivered. A never in being the call. France will need a miraculous play to get another chance at it. Otherwise, GB is going to the semifinals if they can play catch their way into the end zone. A very favorable starting position at the midfield mark.
The call of +1 from the GB sideline. Hill. This is really fantastic bracketing from the French women to stifle that first option. Kwok. Through to Hill. Oh, that's a interesting choice. Delaval, but there's the gymnast in Emily Hill. She can handspring. She can do all sorts. She is fantastically athletic.
Accepted foul. I mean, Delaval is just going for it here. She knows she got into her fingertips there. Wow, what action we're getting.
It's just muscle memory at this point. Both of the Hill athletes we see out on the Frisbee field at the moment are dedicated gymnasts as well. Benedict taking her time, thinking about it, squeezing it through, but it could be redeemed. Bit of friendly fire, but Kate Gibson, woof! absolute fire, and Izzy Collins to ice this one. Into the bread box it goes, and that will be GB into semi-finals, 10-8 over France. But what a thriller that was, Steph.
Unbelievable. Gibson, just heroics there, picking that up off the floor. The misthrown disc wobbles its way, waffles off of the hands, still get a second effort. Gibson picks up, Collins in the end zone. GB moving on to semifinals here at Tom's. What a match. Here's the Gibson grab again. Everyone, Valet, Kwok, and Gibson all going full scorpion for the pickup by Gibson. Unbelievable stuff.
I don't say this very often, Steph, but player of the match, Kate Gibson.
Oh, yeah, I'm happy to second that one. I think first time I've got a great chance to watch her live from the best seats in the house, and she definitely delivered on pulling out all the stops there, did Kate Gibson.
Oh, certainly. Well, who have we got next, Steph? Because we've got one more game to squeeze in for Saturday before we move to championship bracket for realsies tomorrow.
Well, we've got a bunch of old boys, the Ultimate Vibrations, Old Stars, some Skogs, some Free Speed, some Ultimate Vibration from the days of old, taking on Krakens, the Barcelona team. Again, maybe a bit more renowned for their play on the beach, but are bringing it here. Div 2, they've made their way to the quarterfinals, and that will be on your screens next.
Well, do not go anywhere, folks. The sun is out. The beers are cold. Tom's Tourney 2024, GB Women advance over France.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, Ultimate.
ULTI.TV.